Hey, what's going on, party people? Let's see here. So we are waiting for Bonz and Terry to join us. Let's see. How's all two of you guys doing today?
Oh, man.
What's going on, Bonz? How you doing?
Good.
That's awesome.
How you doing, man?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Is Terry joining us today?
Yeah, he said he was going to. I messaged him the other day. He was going to join, and I let him know the time, and I just now messaged him, and I said, hey man, it's 5 o'clock. You going to be around for this? And I'm just kind of waiting to hear back from him. So he might kind of get back to me. But I don't know. It's not like him to just forget about something like that. But
No
we might just
worries.
have to go ahead without him.
Sounds good. Yeah, let's get to it. I wanted to thank you first off for joining me. This is a lot of fun. There we go here. JM Yang says, happy Sunday, beautiful people. Yes.
Happy Sunday to you.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you good, man. How's my audio? Everything good?
You're good to go. Cool. But yeah, so thank you for joining me. This is I'm looking forward to this. I prior to like, I don't know, a week or two ago, I knew only of you guys. So yeah.
Okay. Cool. And now we got you in there messing around with the generator. Are you making elements or what? Are you an
Yes.
Our Planet junkie now?
I am I see why everyone was so excited about you guys, and yeah, I can't get enough of it now. So yeah,
That's
because
good.
I was I had discovered the uplift, and by the time I had discovered the uplift, I was I wouldn't say burnt out, but I had come across just so many different projects that you know, I was kind of like, you know, the uplift is sounds like it's a big thing in its own. So I'm gonna stop here and just focus and not really like spread myself too thin amongst, you know, everything else that you can. And I had committed to stopping at the uplift for a while, and I just heard so much about you guys that I decided, you know what, one more. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm glad I did.
Well, that's smart to it's cool too to be part of a community and really sort of dig in and really know, what's going on with the project, especially since these things are, investment. People are actually
Mm,
spending money. So it's like anytime there's money involved, really that's the smart thing to do is just really, dig in and really know what you're joining when you join a community and know what you're investing in when you're buying into a community. And yeah, the uplift, like all those guys, M Blue is a friend of mine for a couple of years now, and I've recently just befriended Corey, and I've actually known Jimmy for a long time too from
mm,
Vigor, and so all those guys I feel like are just like family. They're doing an awesome thing over there, and M Blue's a hero. The guys these guys are literally trying to build a school in Haiti, and just
right.
awesome stuff these guys are doing. And so yeah, the uplift is just the embodiment of what these guys are doing and uplifting, right? So and the fact that
Mm,
they're trying to make this metaverse sort of on wax is, I think they're going to kill it, because it's like I know it's kind of it's one of the sort of hot areas that everyone's kind of moving into. You got a lot of most of the metaverses on Ethereum, and I really just
mm,
think it's a huge gap that wasn't being filled by not having a place for everyone on wax to come together and build and create our own sort of metaverse. So dude, my hat's off to those guys. Those guys are doing awesome work, and I'm so glad to be able to be working with them too, and get their their NFTs listed. And I'm a
mm.
uplift holder myself. I bought some
There you go.
land, and I can't wait yet. I just got in actually just I just finally got into the community plots, and we started building, and I had my daughter, she's a little
Ah,
Minecraft expert, so thank God, because I'm a total noob. I honestly never played Minecraft, so I don't really know. I didn't really know how to build or anything, so it's been
I'm right
really
there
cool.
with you. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
My my nephew, he's what is he, 10 years old now, and
That's my daughter. She's 10.
oh,
They
okay.
crush it.
Yeah, dude, it's mind blowing. You know, I'm building with basic blocks, and last night he was over hanging out with the family, and he's showing me his builds, and I'm just like, I'm looking at what he's building, but then I'm just also looking at him like, what you're a
Yeah.
genius, kid.
I cannot believe it. Like my daughter, like so this is the first time we've actually installed Minecraft, like had the game for her to play. She immediately was just crushing it, building stuff. I'm like, how do you know how to do all this stuff already, you know? And it's like from what I guess they just they're watching YouTube videos of like other
Yeah,
kids playing Minecraft. They're like professional Minecraft builders, like by the time they pick up download the game. It's
sheesh.
incredible. Yeah, it's been fun. And so yeah, I can't wait to get in there and actually start building out sort of a little world for all the different weekend sort of projects
Hmm.
and yeah, build it out.
Awesome.
It's gonna be
Well,
fun.
I'm definitely looking forward to talking more about the uplift in our planet. But before we do, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and I guess your background?
Yeah, well, I'm Bonds. Most people know me from being around like the prospectors community, like the
Mm,
first, which is the first weekend uh, blockchain game. That's where I got my start with them. My background is actually I'm an artist, and I developed a glass company 25 years ago, almost at this point, and built a nationwide brand and started a couple other companies as well. And so I had a little bit of a background in marketing, and
mm,
yeah, kind of fell in love with the blockchain gaming space in 2017, and found my way to prospectors, and was involved with some of the early testing there, and kind of was in with the community, and basically just kind of started helping out and volunteering. I think at that point it was there was like sort of the beta testers, and the early community members were really involved with kind of helping shape the early direction
mm,
of the game. And I just from working with the team and just trying to bring as much value as I could, I really wanted to kind of get my foot in the door with some sort of blockchain company. I really just felt like I could provide some value if given the chance. And yeah, the weekend team guys have been great. They gave me a shot, and
mm.
they gave me a position, and I've been working with them ever since. And it's been an awesome ride, and I'll be forever thankful to those guys for giving me the opportunity to be a part of the cutting edge revolution
Yeah.
of blockchain gaming. Those guys have been pioneers, and I'm lucky to be along for the ride.
Hmm. How long has it been now that you've been with Weekend?
So I think my official position with them started in 2018.
Okay.
Um, I think Prospects has been around even since 2017, and I mean, I think I knew about the project then. It was still an
Mm,
ERC token at that time,
I
ERC
see.
20 token. So I think what the deal was they did their initial fundraise for Prospectors on Ethereum, but weren't quite sure exactly which blockchain they were going to go with. And as you know, USIO wasn't really even launched in 2017 yet. It was just basically proposed, and Block One was doing their ICO, their year-long ICO for
Mm,
building out the EOSIO software and releasing that as an open source code. And basically the weekend team chose EOS as the first blockchain to launch prospectors on. Of course, shortly thereafter, we actually launched on Wax as well, which has been awesome.
okay. Ah, very cool, very cool. And I understand. Well, can you actually talk on Weekend a little bit? Because I know you guys have some other projects that have already been out there.
Sure. So yeah, we can. I think, like I said, their first major flagship project was Prospectors, which of course was groundbreaking in and of itself. It was the first real fully on-chain MMO that was, of economic strategy. So it was the first real play-to-earn game where every
Mm,
action was on-chain, which of course only was made possible by USIO software. It never would have worked on a chain like Ethereum.
mm,
So yeah, and it's been in beta now for a couple of years, and as about actually to make the next big jump to sort of the next era of prospectors, where we're going to take it to the next level where all the land will actually become an NFT.
wow.
But yeah, prospectors was really the start for me with them, and of course shortly thereafter launching on Wax. Growing the Prospectors brand, of course, cross chain, and being one of the first teams to be able to actually be using sort of cross chain I don't know if I'd call it a true IBC, not necessarily true inter-blockchain communication, but being able to actually communicate between the chains and actually send items, in-game items, fungible tokens from the EOS chain to the Wax chain and vice
That's
versa
awesome.
via the railroad, the in-game railroad. And so yeah,
Right.
they've been really pioneering on a lot of this stuff. And last year, they announced and launched. I say last year, but it was 2020. We launched Tribal Books, which is still under development. We did the initial pack sale, and people got to see a little bit about what it's going to be about. But of course, we're actually going to have some more stuff
Hmm.
coming out soon for people to check out about Tribal Books. But it's going to be really cool. It's sort of a peer-to-peer sort of battle card trading game, but it's going to be so much more than some of the card games that people have seen. I don't want to throw out any
Hmm.
names. It's not really
Sure.
trying to compare, but it's going to be really cool. There's going to be a map. You're basically going to be assembling a deck from your cards, and there's going to be characters, and you're gonna sort of build up the characters, and there's going to be magic involved in leveling up the characters, and of course it's going to all
Hmm.
involve NFTs. So that's going to be an amazing game when it comes out, and it's also we're working on it having that game be fully mobile ready too, which is going to be a huge difference from the NFT card trading games that are currently out in the market.
Right.
So yeah, so then that brings us to late 2020. We announced the launch of Our Planet. I think it was December of
Hmm.
2020 when we first announced the launch of Our Planet. And so initially we announced it as a staking platform. With at the time, of course, the only known part of the game was going to be the alchemy aspect of it, but of
Hmm.
course we put out a roadmap and told the community there's going to be more to come, and that's sort of where we're at now. We've now just announced sort of the land sale, which is coming up in the 15th, so it's just
That's
only
right.
not even maybe a week away. I don't know the exact date
Couple
right
days.
now, but
Yeah, it's
yeah,
the
it's
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 the
yeah,
11th
it's coming
today.
up fast. It's crazy,
Sheesh.
and so yeah, we just announced it, and it just feels like it's going to be here like it's coming up quick, and it's been exciting because there was a long time where we were kind of waiting for the good news. I think the community was getting a little bit anxious, and so yeah, the game started as a staking platform with just a small handful of projects that we chose to start out by listing. Of course, Tribal Books was one of the first ones that we allowed staking for because, of course, that's
Hmm.
our project.
Oh,
And
okay.
GPK, the
Right.
Garbage Pail Kids, of course, because they had such a huge community behind it. And I think shortly
Hmm.
thereafter, we launched and included Blockchain Heroes because, of course, they have built a great community there as well, and was one of the early
Right.
communities on Wax to sort of have a community. So yeah, those were
Hmm.
the first few projects, and yeah, the whole idea was to basically attract players, right? Like, um, we created a token, we invented a staking system.
Hmm.
Um, some of the guys from Crypto Lions worked with us on developing that, and the game does use both the simple asset standard and the atomic asset NFT standard,
Hmm.
so it's kind of unique in that sense. I guess to give people who aren't quite super familiar with the game a quick review of how that actually works. So the game actually is an alchemy game. So you're actually using these fungible tokens that you buy with the ether tokens,
Hmm.
um, these basic elements. And these basic elements are fungible tokens. That means that they're not unique in any way, and there's indefinite amounts of them. And those fungible tokens are used in the in-game generator, which will then produce. You're trying to use alchemy to create another element or another material, right?
Hmm.
And so as the game has progressed, now we've now released a whole new set of materials. So it's gotten to the point where of course, over time they get more difficult to make. They require more ether, harder and harder, elements down the road. And so,
Sure.
but of course, then they stake for way more too. So they become more valuable, right? So as the game is progressing, uh, you're taking higher and higher level elements to create next higher level elements. And of
Hmm.
course, the one thing that a lot of new people coming to the game don't quite understand is how it all works, is that how the NFTs are generated. And so if you're one of the first 600 people to craft a new element, you'll get also an NFT of that element. And so you'll not
Mm,
only get the fungible token, but you'll also get the non-fungible token.
I
And it's
see.
non-fungible meaning that it's totally unique. It has a number. It's obviously going to be number 1 through 600 because that's all they'll ever be. So each element is limited in that way, where they're either 600 or less. I think there's 6 different rarities. It's kind of cool because, of course, if you go in and make a couple NFTs, you then get that that pack opening, which is of course the fun element of getting to open a pack and see what kind of rarity you're going to come up with, right? And so of course, as the elements get harder to make, those rare elements become really valuable as far as staking tools as well.
Mm,
So it kind
mm,
of encourages and incentivizes people to sort of reinvest the ether that they're making from mining back into the game and continue to increase your staking percentage and get more ether per hour, basically. But some people, of course, just treat it sort of as a almost like a DeFi application where they're just basically
right.
mining the token, right? So, and
Mm,
a lot of people I've actually heard say that they came early on and started staking some stuff, and they really didn't know what the game was about, and so they were just kind of collecting their ether and
mm,
maybe selling it. And then a lot of people later said, "Man, I wish I had kind of figured out how to use that generator earlier, because that's when it was a lot easier to actually create the NFTs, and they actually cost a lot less." And a lot of people now are like, they feel like they're maybe late to the game, but you're really not, because all it really takes is developing a couple of those high level NFTs, and you can actually and if you're brave enough and you want to try an experiment. The inventor prize actually gives an amazing reward. It gives you
mm,
an NFT that's specifically for the inventor of a new element. So if you invent an element, you not only get you're going to crack that first pack, so you're going to get that number 1 NFT, of course, but you're also going to get the inventor's prize NFT, which is like the mythic rarity value worth of that element as the staking value for that inventor NFT. So some of them I've seen some crazy amounts. Like the people that invented just some of the new ones that I've seen over the last few days are like, they're paying like 25K ether per hour just for that one NFT. I've seen some
mm.
crazy high NFTs being produced. So it's not too late. It's fun to just basically take the ether you're getting and reinvest it back into trying to make more elements. And maybe you'll get lucky and come up with a high rarity one, or maybe you want to be brave and try your luck at inventing and see if you can't get that inventor prize.
Right.
Also, inventing, one other thing I'll mention about inventing is there's a prize pool. So that fee that's
Mm,
being paid every time you use the generator, that wax is actually going to a prize pool. So not only do you get that really valuable NFT if you create a new element or discover a new element, but you also get however much wax is in that prize pool. And I think it starts off right around almost like 500 wax
mm.
every time. So, and of course,
Wow.
as the price of wax is going up, that's now like it's turning into a more substantial reward actually
Yeah,
for doing inventing.
definitely.
Yeah,
Very cool. Yeah, so we'll break some of that down. And I wanted to start with a tweet that caught my attention today, and it was perfect timing from Corey. Shout out to Corey, by the way. Corey mentioned in the Telegram that to send his love. So
yeah.
that's from
Shout out,
Corey.
shout out to Corey, no doubt.
So, and I just realized also I never introduced myself to the Art Planet community. So, for everyone watching, my name is Raul. I started this YouTube channel just as hobby because I was so excited about crypto, but specifically NFTs, and so much that I couldn't shut up about it. So I decided to start this YouTube channel, and this was right around the time that I discovered the Uplift, and Corey, who helped me kind of start this entire thing, introduced me to a few people to interview past him, and yeah, this has been a really fun roller coaster so far. So I'm loving all the people that I get to meet through this. So it's been really good. But back to the tweet that I had saw earlier. Corey was talking about our planet, and he said that our planet will be the cornerstone of how projects operate in less than 2 years. That's a big statement, right? To say that everyone after you guys are going to be following the kind of road that you guys are paving now. Can you speak to that a little bit, Bonds?
Yeah, I mean, I think like I said before about the Weekend team, they've always been sort of trailblazers, you know.
Mm.
They've been sort of paving the way as far as blockchain gaming goes since the launch of Prospectors, you know. But yeah, there had been never anything done quite like what we did with our planet as far as a staking system like that. And I think that you know, initially you know, and even still to this day, there's you know, people that you know, you know, there's like people trying to FUD it or whatever, or that even can't understand.
Mm.
Even just yesterday, people were in the chat trying to you know, some people literally can't wrap their head around it. You know,
Yeah.
um, they think that you know, I remember early on people were thinking that somehow they were, you know, that we were actually using the NFTs to make money somehow, like on the back end. Like, well, how do you guys
Mm.
use the NFTs to make money? You know, and it's like, no, they're not really making any money. They're just staked. That's it. It's just a staking
Right.
contract. Your NFTs are staked. It's sort of a it's literally a proof of stake, right? It's a proof of collector. You're proving that you are a collector, and so by proving you know, just how big of a collector you are, that's
Mm.
obviously
I
where your
see.
reward is going to come in. And so obviously, you know, just like with almost all games, not even just blockchain games, but you know, regular games, right? Like most games these days, like people aren't really investing in games. You know, most people that play Fortnite aren't actually even
Mm.
spending any money, right? Yet like Fortnite makes like something like $10 billion a year selling skins or something, but I guess something like 5% of the players account for like 95% of
Right.
that $10 billion, right? Like most people spend a couple dollars, but then you have a few people that are like going to spend a few $1,000s for these games.
Mm.
Most people play free to play games and they never invest a penny, right? So
Right.
with traditional game studios too, you run into the question, well, how do you actually, you know, if you could specifically market to those 5%, you know, if you know who those 5% of people are who are those big spenders, and you could get them playing your game, then you know, you're going to have a great player base, right? Like if you could
Mm.
poach those players from all the various games and get basically only the high spenders and somehow incentivize all of those players to come play your game, right? So how do you
Mm.
do that? Well, you know, these guys really, you know, our team really, I think, nailed it by basically incentivizing the larger collectors in the wax community,
Mm.
right? Like if you're a baller collector and you have, you know, all kinds of, you know, if you've been stacking NFTs from all these projects, you were immediately incentivized to come stake on our planet because obviously you were going to get a really great return right off the bat
Right.
without making any investment. So it's
Mm.
almost like a win-win, right? Like these people already are collecting these cards; they're sort of collecting dust in your wallet already, and so, what else are you going to do with them, right? You may as well stake them. Someone's basically coming along and saying, "Hey, we're going to give you a reward for just being a collector." Well, that's sort of a no-brainer, right? You stake your cards, you're getting this reward. Well, now we've sort of got your foot in the door because,
Mm.
you know, of course, you could be, you know, just mining that token and selling it, but of course, since you're already a collector and already, for the most part, probably taking part in some of these communities. You now have your foot in the door to our community, and then you're already
Mm.
incentivized because you already have the token, so you're incentivized to play the game and try it out. So, you know, trying to get people to come play a game when you launch a new game, you know, it's hard to just convince people, hey, you know, come check out this random game. Most people, you know, if they don't have a reason to check it out, it's hard to just get players, right? And
Mm.
so by incentivizing people and by giving them that, you know, those tokens for without having to invest anything initially, just take your collection that you've already collected. You have these ether tokens now, and so you're that much more likely to play the game. And so having said that, of course, you know, there's going to be a lot of people who aren't interested in playing the game, and those people are going to sell their ether tokens. But that's
Mm.
actually you know, some people are going to be not interested in playing the game. um, and but then on the other hand, there's going to be people who are really interested in playing the game, and those people want to buy ether tokens, right? Like they're not mining enough. Maybe their collection wasn't big enough, or maybe they didn't have the right, you know, high value cards, and so they found themselves wanting more ether than what their ether mining was providing. So they're on the other side of the market, right? So for every
Mm.
buyer, there's a seller, and as we've seen the last few weeks, right? Like as soon as people realize that, wait, this game is actually moving forward. There's actually a reason to collect these fungible tokens too,
Mm.
and there's a reason to try to keep upping my ether mining rate. You're more incentivized to play the game, as we've seen. Then it's also sort of reflected in the price, right? Like as people find new elements, you see people then immediately going to the market and trying to buy ether so that they can craft those NFTs while they're still available. So yeah, it's sort of it sort of shows that it's working, right? Like
Mm.
there's enough people that want to buy, enough people that want to play the game, to actually want to buy from people who are staking and just maybe selling, and so yeah, it seems to be that it's a huge success. Really, people are not only playing the game, using the ether that they're mining to play the game, but people are actually going to the market and buying up the tokens so that they can create even more
Mm.
NFTs. So it's showing that we've created an ecosystem that's growing and it works and it's balanced, and we're growing fast. Actually, I think there's been something like 800 new people just joined the Telegram just like in the last
Wow.
like few days or something. Like I think our Telegram just hit 2,500 people, and it was at maybe a few hundred for like the first month or two. I think it was
Hmm.
relatively small. We were under 1,000 members, I think, for the first month, and I think since then it's been like exponential growth. It's going up fast every day. There's just tons of new faces showing up, and there's still people who are just showing up, and seems like they're just finding out about it.
Yes.
So it's
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
cool. There's still a lot of new people showing up, and so yeah, it's been like the first, I think immediately for the reasons that I was kind of explaining, we had I think it was we launched on December 17th, and I think 4 days after that we had hit 50,000 NFTs staked
Wow.
on our platform in just 4 days. And so I think it was just a few days ago we announced that we had hit 2 million
Wow.
NFTs. Yeah. So, and I think at one point I had read that it's something like it's over 10%. It might even be 15% of all the NFTs created on the Wax platform total are
That's
staked in
nuts.
our platform. Yeah, it's a lot of
Wow.
NFTs. So yeah, it
There's
shows.
there's definitely a reason for it, man. I think I'll just speak on my experience so far. Like I had mentioned, I kind of was gonna stop at the uplift, but was hearing so many good things about our planet that I just had to go and check you guys out. And for me, it was a little confusing at first because I'm hearing about staking and stuff like that, and so I go on your website, I try it out, and I'm not sure. I wasn't sure what part staking NFTs was doing, like kind of on the back end, because my idea of
Exactly.
staking comes from the DeFi part of things. And
Sure.
so it's I apologize for my cat.
No, don't worry about it.
Her name's Nikki. I almost
Nice.
every time, so I always have her in here like just hanging out, and almost every time I'm about to start a video with somebody, she's sleeping, like completely knocked out. And once I start, she's awake and wants to be in every video. So yeah, so I discovered you guys. I was a little confused. I wasn't sure what to do, but once I wrapped my head around it, I was instantly sold, right? And now, yeah, definitely looking how I can increase my ether production, and
Right.
really getting into the different elements, and just being able to, I guess, in all my research for today and speaking with you, I saw like, wow, this is really crazy, and you guys haven't even gotten to the to the juicy part of things,
Right.
right?
We're just getting into the
So
juicy part. Yeah.
definitely. What are your guys' inspiration for the game?
Well, this game in particular was sort of inspired by there's actually an alchemy game, Little Alchemy, that was sort of almost like what the initial inspiration was. It was like, we generated
Hmm.
an alchemy game, and it was just a lot of sort of game mechanics. Of course, our team is, they're experienced game developers. They understand game balance. Like it's sort of night and day from creating a game like Prospectors, which involves an entire economy and it involves so much balance, and so much thought. And so I think the team had, I think they worked with, like I said, some of the guys from Crypto Lines to basically develop the initial generator, the sort of alchemy part of the game, which was just basically like based on a simple alchemy game. And I
Hmm.
think that the initial idea was, we'll create this cool game, and once we get players, develop it out, like continue to develop the storyline of you know the animals escaping to our planet, and then of course the land sale, which was we didn't make public initially, but of course at
Hmm.
some point we talked about the roadmap, and I think people were expecting sort of a next phase to the game, and it's been, of course, a huge success, and now I think people are really excited about the next phase of the game now that they know it's coming, and they know that there's going to be this whole other aspect of
Yeah.
sort of fighting robots, I guess is how
Right.
we describe it. But it's like it's going to be cool, and people
Mm.
are so excited. I'm super excited about it myself. And this first initial land sale is actually going to be it's really limited,
Mm.
and we really wanted it to. We were really hoping to keep it within the community and keep it try to
Oh,
keep
yeah.
like sort of the flippers and the vampires out of the sale. We really just wanted to reward the actual players in the community. um,
Sure.
and keep the limits low, and with the cool down period. And so hopefully it's going to be,
Mm.
the people that are deserving will be able to get some land. And I know no matter what, there's going to be some disappointed people. I'm
Mm.
already mentally preparing myself. Like, it's as we
Yeah.
all know from past sales, like, it's tough when it's limited. There's more people that want the land than there is
Right.
land. And so inevitably some people, are
Mm.
maybe going to miss out. And so I hope that everybody gets land. I obviously would like to get land myself. I hope it goes to the people that are really playing, and not
Mm.
all just to the flippers that are going to try to
Yeah, that's
exploit
a
it and
big
make a
one.
ton of money. Yeah.
Right. Definitely. Do you guys have any safeguards against that?
Well, so far, right off the bat, we're doing this whitelisting process, which, as far as I know, I'm not even sure if any other sales have really tried to do it exactly this way. So we've created these two pools. There's a staking pool 1 and a staking pool 2 that you can try to enter.
Mm.
They're basically to try to ensure that, the one pool is to try to get only players who had already been playing the game
Mm.
before the 5th. And so,
Gotcha.
and then the other one is sort of like, for people who are newer but who are trying to be involved in the community and following and join the Telegram groups, etc. And so, yeah, by basically limiting the number of people who could be in the pools, by sort of filtering them and whitelisting, we've further
Mm.
hopefully narrowed it down to the real players. And then on top of that, we have a really low limit, so it's only going to be 3
Mm.
packs total, one of the 3 packs and 2 of the single packs for each account, with a 3-minute cooldown. So we pretty much pulled out all the stops. I feel like we've done
Yeah,
everything we could
definitely.
to try to make it as fair as possible, try to give everybody a fair chance to actually get one.
Mm.
And hopefully it works out. We have
Awesome.
high hopes that it will.
Yeah, I'll be trying to snag some land myself. Thankfully I made it into the first pool as well, so uh,
Good.
hoping I can land some. You briefly talked on it already, but can you go into the story of our planet?
So yeah, it's kind of a fun little story where and you can go back at that. We made a funny little video about it too, but it's
Hmm.
it's essentially, right, like you have the lab animals, right? They're all chipped and in the lab getting tested, and of course, they're seeing the writing on the wall. Captain Pig decides to rally up the troops. He's looking at the scientists doing the experiments on them, and
Mm.
seeing them, eat bacon, and basically realizes that these animals got to get out of here. Their days are numbered.
Mm.
So the plan was to craft a spaceship, get everybody off the planet, and go start a new colony on our planet. So
Mm.
the spaceship basically launched, and took our chipped animals with them, with the captain at the helm. And
Mm.
they've been on their way to our planet. And while they're on the way, they're of course using whatever they can find to first they used whatever they can find to whip up some rigs. So they use
Mm.
the old bike and turned it into a miner, and the old Nokia cell phone, and whatever they could find laying around the ship, they turned into a ether miner, so that they could get the ether rates up enough, so that they could continue to make enough elements. And so the
Mm.
whole goal has been, while they're on the journey to our planet, the goal is to create all the elements and materials that they're going to need to colonize and start a
Mm.
new start over again on our planet. So that's sort
Gotcha,
of what the
gotcha.
generator is about. Yeah.
I see. So that, oh, I see. Gotcha. So that's why we're staking, so that we can buy elements and combine those and then create the items that will help in colonizing Mars.
That's exactly it. All those
Got
elements we're creating are all the things we're going to need. So that's where all
it.
those fungible tokens come into play. All
Right.
those elements are yeah, we're creating the building blocks for the new civilization, so to speak.
Gotcha. Very cool. Okay, cool. So new player comes in and they see the list that you guys of NFTs that is currently stakeable. Explain. Can we go into again why they'd want to stake them?
Well, it's pretty simple. It's like if you want to earn from staking your NFTs, you can do so. Like one of the things people have been concerned about is, if you stake them, they're now locked in our contract. Well, what if there's some sort of
Mm,
rug pull? I can pretty much assure everybody there's not going to be some kind of rug pull.
right.
Obviously, the teams are known entities. They've been, in the around the USIO community for years. They're well respected members. Obviously, it's just like any other staking contract. Think of DeFi. People, when you stake your tokens in DeFi, they're actually not in your control either. It's the exact same thing.
Mm,
It's just like staking. If you're using some sort of DeFi app and you're sending tokens to some app. A lot of times on Ethereum, you have all these DeFi apps that are run by anonymous teams. The
mm,
code's not open source. Basically, our you can look at the S.R Planet account on Blocks.io. You can see that there's multi-sig set up on that account. You can see
right.
who's on the multi-sig. They're known teams. No one's anonymous. It's our Planet team, and it's some of the trusted community members from the Crypto Alliance team who
Mm,
are well respected block producers on both EOS. They're a build member on Wax. They're also on Telos, and also going to be one of the very few block producers chosen to be validators on the new UOS network, the Ultra network as well. So they're pretty much about
mm,
as trusted as a block producer as you could possibly get. So the idea that they would ruin their reputation or
right.
pull some shady business is pretty much out of the question. There's no chance
Mm,
that anything's going to happen to your NFTs. So long story short, your NFTs are 100% safe. You would want to stake them if you wanted to basically be uh, collecting ether as a reward.
mm,
And like I said, some people who are interested in the game are just staking their NFTs and they're collecting those rewards, and they're you can sell those for wax. So that's what some people are doing, and of course people can do that, and then there's someone else who's there to buy that ether who wants to play the game.
mhm,
So that's fine too if they want to do that. Or once you actually have some ether together and you think, well, what's this thing about? Maybe you want to actually mint some new NFTs. Obviously,
mm.
just minting the NFTs can actually be more profitable than even just selling the ether. So that's what I was kind of telling people.
Interesting.
Yeah, so you think about it like of course you can just mine ether and sell that ether, but you could also then use that ether to mint some NFTs, and if that NFT
Mm,
itself is a high ether producing NFT, right? Like say you create, you're basically creating a mining rig. You're creating an R Planet
mm,
mining rig just by creating a new element, and so
mm,
that element itself could be worth thousands of wax, right? Like you could just go mint an NFT. Like right now, you could spend several a few hundred thousand ether to mint an NFT, and that NFT could be worth thousands of wax theoretically. So there's sort
right.
of a fun sort of game theory to it. It's a little bit like it's a little bit of a gamble, right? Like you might make an NFT and it might be a common, and you're at least getting more ether by staking that. But
Mm,
you run a chance of getting a really rare NFT as well, and so if you do that, then you might have done way better by creating that NFT than by selling that ether. And having said
mm,
that, you're now of course keeping to increase your ether mining, because as I was explaining before, of
right.
course the elements get more and more expensive to create the higher level elements. So if you're not continuously sort of reinvesting in yourself in your own
Mm,
ether mining operation, you need to wait longer and longer to be able to have enough ether saved up to be able to create a new element, right?
mm.
So if you want to sort of keep up with the game, the people that are hardcore and sort of making new elements every day, you want to actually be reinvesting that ether back in yourself and creating more elements,
Mm,
which of course, like I said, are going to be needed in the next phase of the game. So if you're interested in the land sale and taking part, you want to be sort of investing in creating those fungible tokens that you're using to make new elements, because get your inventory up, because as we've explained in the Medium article, that's how you're going to upgrade the mining rate for the land on the R Planet from the R Planet
wow.
land sale that's upcoming. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Currently, right now, I think I'm producing just over 3,000 ether, and I of course I first looked into like what does that equate to in wax, and was kind of blown away. And that's when I was asking people in the Telegram like, is this for real? What I'm seeing right here? And they assured me like, hey man, this is definitely for real. And yeah, then of course I get into, well, how do I increase that? And then yeah, for sure. So got into looking into the different mining rigs right now. What do they play any kind of role aside from like what you spoke on?
So the mining rigs are more specifically a rig that we we sold packs basically specifically for people who were so we had our initial player base, and then the first thing we
Mm,
did was do an initial pack sale, which was mining rigs, which was for people who specifically wanted to beef up their mining rates, right?
mm,
And then there was another mining rig sale after that, and so of course the mining rigs are very specifically you're gonna get X amount of ether per hour from this rig, right?
gotcha.
And there's all different types of rigs with all different rarities, right? And then of course, and early on, making the elements, it was cheap to make elements, and the elements were, producing anywhere from 5 to 10 to 25, whatever ether per hour. And so as the elements have now progressed, we're to the point now where, you make a common element, like one of the recent things, that some of these recent elements that have just been discovered, radiation and atomic bomb, for example, like even the common element. So when you mint that NFT, you're guaranteed to be getting at least the equivalent of a mining rig. Like, so it used to
Wow.
be before, if you got, a card that yielded 100 ether per hour, it was really valuable. I mean, it
Mm,
is really valuable, but they were hard to get. And now you can just mint an NFT and pretty much guarantee yourself 100, 150, 200 ether per
wow.
hour, because that's just like the level that it's gotten up to, right? And so, and of course, if you get the rare ones, like they're like in the thousands of ether per hour. Like you could mint one card and you would double your ether per hour rate if you just got, say, like an uncommon or a rare atomic bomb or something. So
Mm,
really, then you really can understand why people that are like, people who are new coming to the game and only maybe have a low ether per mining, and they see that, oh man, that's going to take a long time to save up to be able to mint
right.
one radiation, say, or one atomic bomb. Well, those people then can go and buy enough ether on the market to make that one element, because that one element alone
Mm,
could end up being like buying several rigs, right?
mm,
So spending that wax on, instead of spending that wax on buying mining rigs from the market, you may as well go spend that wax on buying ether and then trying to
mm.
generate some new NFTs, which could
Interesting.
pay off way more than just buying mining
Mm,
rigs off the market, right? So yeah, I mean, there's a lot. That's just all strategy, right? So I mean, there's different ways. There's no right or wrong way. I mean, some of it is luck if you're trying to mint NFTs, but some of it, you look at the numbers, and there's definitely a strategic way to play. Like if you can,
mm,
mint NFTs and be, upping your mining rate by a certain amount every day, then that's
mm.
obviously, pretty valuable in itself. So.
Got it. So when we go to combine or elements, there's the potential of those burning, right? And going away. Like if I don't come up with the correct recipe.
Yeah, exactly right. And that's important for people to know that, all the elements that have already been discovered, of course, as soon as that element is discovered, that information is available on the blockchain, right?
Mm,
So, and of course, early on, it was everybody who came to play the game was like, "Hey, what's going on? I bought Earth, Water, Air, and Fire and put them in the generator, and it ate my elements. What happened?"
mm,
And it was an education thing, right? Just getting people up to speed on, look, there's a recipe for every element, right? And every correct
mm.
element that's been found, that recipe is public knowledge. And so
I
we'll give a
see.
shout out to Ivan, and there's another great community member, Pigwig. He's going by. They've created these community tools where, a lot of people are familiar with the Our Planet generator, where you're actually now able to craft multi-level elements in one click. So these guys are just members of the community that took it upon themselves to just create these tools. So very early on, I think Ivan was the one that came up with the first, sort of Google sheet. I think a few other people too. People immediately, of course, were sharing the recipes in even the Telegram
Sure.
chat from
Yeah,
from
yeah.
day one, right? And so the fact is that anybody who has the ability can just be pulling that data right off the blockchain. So as soon as somebody creates a new element, within a few minutes, these community tools are updated. So
Mm.
as long as you're paying attention, you should be able to look up any element that's been found. You can look up and find the recipe, use the tools.
That's awesome.
They're right in the pin message on the Telegram group. Don't try to experiment unless you know what you're experimenting for, right? That's kind of the whole thing, right? Like, so yeah, you're
Mm.
right. If you experiment, if you're trying to get that inventor's prize, which like we discussed earlier, 500 wax almost, sometimes
Right.
more. You're also getting that inventor NFT, which at this point is crazy valuable. I mean, at this point
Mm.
now, it's expensive to try to invent or to try to discover a new item, because you're
Mm.
now using these very high level items, right? That you've put a lot of work through, right? So it's high risk, high reward, right? So at the beginning, you could just spend very little and invent a new invent a new
Mm.
element. Whereas now it's sort of you got to have a lot of skin in the game
Mm.
to be trying to come up with those new elements. But like I said, high risk, high reward. You come up with that inventor prize.
Yeah.
Some of them are like 25,000 K ether per hour, which is like, I don't even know what the math on that, but that's something like, I think
Conversion rate.
you're getting something like $30 a day worth of wax. I mean, just inventing
Sheesh.
that one, not only are you getting the 500 wax prize, but it's basically like a money generating machine, but of course, then now you have the ether that you could then continue to try to invent even more elements, right? Because that's the name of
Mm.
the game. Like, the more ether you have, the more you can experiment and
Right.
try to get that inventor's prize. Which, for someone who's not getting a lot of ether per hour, it's tough to actually do that experimenting. So my advice to everybody when they're starting out is don't get adventurous and try to discover new elements. Just stick to the recipes that are known and craft some
Mm.
NFTs and use those NFTs to hopefully build up your ether per hour up to something where you get to a point where you have enough and you've saved up enough FTs, that fungible tokens, to where and you have an idea in your mind. Also, when you do have those ideas in your mind, make sure you're using that tool to see if that's been tried already or not, right?
Mm.
So that's one of the other things that people are doing, was like trying. Some of the things have been tried like a ridiculous amount of times, even though they'd already been tried,
Right.
only because people weren't using the tool, or
Right.
perhaps didn't know about it. But
Mm.
yeah, that's why I try to, is anytime I'm doing an interview, something like this, I try to, for anybody who's maybe just learning about the game, make sure you know about the tools. Make sure
That's good.
if you do have an idea for an invention, you think you're really sure, that what's the recipe for a new element. Make sure you plug those into the tool, and make sure that no one has tried that yet, at least,
Mm.
at the very least. And then, yeah, if you're brave, throw them into the generator and try it, and good luck, and hopefully you get that congratulations from the captain. And if you do, it could be very valuable these days. But I've never actually even seen the pig give me a congratulations. I've tried a
Oh,
lot of
really?
times. I put a lot of millions of ether into that generator trying early on, and never saw him. Got a lot of the pig telling me sorry, but yeah, and
That's
in
funny.
that case, like you said, to bring it back full circle, in that case, yes,
Mm.
you lose those elements that you throw into the generator. If you're experimenting and
Mm.
you throw in a recipe that doesn't work, those elements are gone. You've now burned that ether, and you now don't have those fungible tokens to try another recipe with. So
Mm.
yeah, it's sort of a gamble. It's definitely a risk, trying to invent new elements.
Definitely. And then on the opposite side of losing your elements, when you do find that new recipe, there's you already talked on it, the inventor prize that comes into play with your name being added to that as well, right? Can you talk
That's
about
right.
that?
That's right. So yeah, I mean, of course, whatever account is that first account to discover it, yeah, that's going to be forever immortalized on the blockchain. So that's kind
Mm.
of a cool little bonus as well. And like I said, the inventor prize comes with a custom NFT. It's a one of one, for inventing that specific element. You'll be the only one
Mm.
that'll ever have that
That's
NFT.
crazy.
And they are, like I said, they're the equivalent of the mythic. So that's like the
Mm.
highest rarity. of each element. So especially as you get into the higher tier elements, they yield a crazy amount of ether per hour. So if you invent any of the higher tier elements these days, you're getting a ridiculously sweet prize. In addition to the you're going to open that first pack, so that NFT that you're actually cracking is going to be a number one NFT right off the bat. And so
Wow.
you run, you could get lucky opening that first pack and end up with a legendary or even a mythic. You could end up with theoretically two mythics. Like, just you could get ridiculously lucky and get the inventor prize times two almost just by
Wow.
getting really lucky. But at the minimum, you're going to get a common version of that NFT. But it's going to be, of course, the number one, which some people think it's cool to have that number one.
Oh, absolutely. And you guys have already released the Upliftium. Is that correct?
Well, so the Upliftium is actually an element that can be invented, right? And it's actually the last one. If you're looking at sort of the list of elements, it's sort of the last one down there. So it's going to
I
be
see.
really tricky to invent. No one's invented it yet, of course.
Got it.
And when it does get invented, it's going to be a crazy sprint to get to the first 10, because so that's another reason to, so another something that we didn't really touch on is, like, there's another reason why it's like really important to just kind of a lot of people only want to create the ones that have been not created 600 times yet, right? So you want to get
Right.
that NFT. But another angle to play is, you want to create things that, might be used for, like, if you're pretty sure that something that hasn't been invented yet will require another element that already has been invented, you might want to stock up on those, because then when that does get when that new element gets found, you already have several of the base ingredients if you're pretty sure of what you think is going to be involved in it, and then you're sort of ready to go, right? So as soon as someone finds that, like, say today someone just found mountain, right? And if you had the ingredients for mountain already saved up in your inventory, you could just crank a bunch of those out, and you're just banging out those NFTs by having those ingredients already
Right.
staked. So it's gonna be like that all the way through, like going all the way to the end. So the people that are lucky enough and smart enough and probably a little bit of luck involved to have the correct ingredients already in your wallet when that Upliftium is found, you're going to be able to be one of the first 10 that's going to create Upliftium. And for the first 10, it's actually going to get you a piece of the land that they're actually doing in the Uplift world. So
In
that's going to be like a
non-delivery.
suit. Yeah, so not only will you get the inventor's prize, your name will be on
Wow.
the blockchain, the entire wax pool, the number one mint. You'll also then get a piece of land, which is probably going to be
Gee.
super valuable in the uplift. Yeah, that's only for
That's
10 people, so
awesome.
that's kind of a special case. That's sort of a partnership deal that we have with them. So that's gonna be like the super sweet prize at the end of this whole thing, as we're moving into this next phase of development. It probably will be one of the later ones because it is last. But who knows? Someone could come across it at any point, really.
Yeah.
There's really no way to know what's gonna be involved with creating it. Like, it's just anybody's guess, really. Like, what's involved with Upliftium, I don't know. It's kind of a obscure, but someone's gonna figure it out at some point, and it's gonna be fun when they do.
Interesting. Yeah, very interesting. Something to definitely strive for all the uplifters watching. Can you talk on the roadmap? I know somebody here in the comments are referring to a secret update that's listed.
The secret update. So yeah, there's a secret update, and I can't really tell you any more about it because I'm bound to
Of course.
secrecy on that. So yeah, we'll have to stay true to the secret update and call it a secret update and say, yep,
Very cool.
there's secret stuff coming. So yeah, the team is always delivering. I think there's been steady since December when we launched the initial staking pool. There's been a steady supply every few weeks. They're coming up with the next sort of phase, whether it be the new elements coming, the rig sale. There's always new stuff coming. So I'd keep a lookout soon for something cool from the team, which is a little bit probably unexpected, a little bit something different. So it'll be cool. Everyone's gonna get a kick out of it, I think.
Definitely. Yeah. I would love if you can talk any more on the Conquest game that's going to be coming out. I guess I think that's a part of your
Yeah,
third phase, right?
Yeah, so that's going to be part of the, after the land sale. Yeah, that's going to be sort of the next phase. So I don't honestly know much more about it even than you do. Like
Got it.
there's been,
Okay.
I think publicly all that's been said is that people know that there's going to be these new four elements that, you're going to have a
Mm,
mining rate, that each land that you get is going to sort of be, you're going to be mining this element. And so each of those elements obviously is going to be important. They're all going to have to do with this, with, constructing the robots that we're going to be battling. So that's going to be a whole nother part of the game, and it's going to just
wow.
open up a whole new set of gamification, and it's going to be awesome. But basically,
Mm,
yeah, the land is going to, they're going to be unique by which element it actually creates, and that element is going to be, or that mining rate is going to be able to be upgraded using the fungible tokens that we're creating now. So that's another reason to be kind of sort of stacking up those
mm,
fungible tokens. So for someone like you, even, or a new player who's coming, who's just stacking up a little bit of ether, maybe they feel like, oh man, I can't really create a lot of new NFTs, and or you don't
mm,
have a ton of money to invest. You can still, just by creating fungible tokens, just make the recipes that are already known, make things that you feel
mm.
like are going to be
That's good.
useful for possible future elements that get created, so that you already have a little stash of sort of ingredients in case a future recipe uses those. Also, they
Mm,
could be used to upgrade your land in the new land sale. So you'll increase your mining rate, which of course is going to help you produce more fighting robots, right? So that's going to be
mm.
the name of the game. There's going to be a whole game that's going to develop out of this, and I can already see it being a lot of fun. I
That's
think people
awesome.
are already excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I've only read a couple lines on it just from your guys' website, and that sounds awesome. So we're already going on an hour. Time flew by. Um,
Yeah, man.
you also have land. So this will be one of my last questions to you guys. You guys also have land in the uplift. Are you able to
We
share?
do.
Are you able to share what you guys plan to build out?
Yeah, that's a great question. Like I said, I only just got in there myself, and I was just talking about this. I'm actually going to, for anybody who's listening, who's part of the our planet community. If you want to be part of this, we're trying to recruit some people. If you're a builder in Minecraft, if you know how to build Minecraft, hit me up in Telegram. DM me, say you want to join the group. We're going to try to come up with some cool community prizes, some sort of maybe we give away some mining rigs or some of the promo packs to people who want to help build it out. And I really want to start having sort of community meetings where people can have ideas, because of course we have this giant piece of land, and there's obviously a lot of things we can do. One of the first things I want to start building is sort of a giant sort of museum. I don't know if you'd call it a museum, but a giant sort of shrine right in the center, where we're going to have the what I want to call the Hall of Elements, right? And it's just going to be it would be cool to have those inventors cards, so we could have basically a little plaque sort of for each element, which will show the recipe that was involved. It'll show a few stats about it, and have that inventors NFT there with the creator, to sort of have each
Awesome.
inventor be further immortalized, have their name be on the wall of the inventors Hall of Fame, and
That's
create out
cool.
a, yeah, for all the development elements that have been created in one building. And so, yeah, that's one of the first things. But of course, it's the sky's the limit, right? It's like up to our
Mm,
imagination. And I
yeah.
uh, I would
Totally.
I would love to hear everyone else's ideas. I would love to recruit a small team, or as many people as want to recruit a large team,
Mm,
and build just a bunch of crazy stuff. My daughter made a stab. We talked about doing a tribute to the pig. We wanted to make a giant
okay.
monument to Captain Pig, and
Oh,
so
Captain
she
Pig.
sort of got started on that in the middle, right in the middle of the square. And so, yeah, I
Nice.
mean, the sky's the limit. Please hit me up if you have built in Minecraft before and you want to be a part of it, because we need some volunteers, basically.
There you go. And touching on that, where can they find you?
I'm on Telegram. Hit me up in the group.
Telegram.
I'm an admin in all of the different weekend project chats, tribal books, prospectors, and our planet. I'm an admin. Search me, DM me. I'm
Cool.
I'm around. I'm easy to find. You find me on Twitter.
Gotcha.
If you want to follow me on Twitter, do that as well. You can hit me up
Sound,
anywhere. I'm
sounds
pretty
good.
accessible.
Totally.
Awesome,
Yeah,
man.
you've answered every single one of my questions from the get-go. Like I was expecting me to talk to this person, but you like the very first person to answer my question in Telegram was you, and we got to talking right
Nice.
away. But so I have one last question for you, but before I get to it, James Parker asks, will there be fungible tokens that are not used later?
That are not used later. I would say I think that they're all going to be able to be used, because I think that that's how
Mm,
we're sort of I think that the mechanic that is going to come into play with the land sale is that the fungible tokens that we're creating on the spaceship on the way there are all going to hold some kind of value, because we're going to continue needing them to upgrade the lands. So I think
mm,
that even just having random fungible tokens, like say you create random whatever, and some element that's already been created, and you have those fungible tokens, I think they're all going to have some kind of value, because they are going to be needed
mm.
on our planet. So I would say that I think they'll all have a use case. It would be my guess.
Beautiful.
They'll all have a value, and they'll all have a use case on the our planet.
Dope. Awesome. So,
Yeah.
so my last question, I guess it's kind of a two-part question. Would you share one basic strategy and one advanced strategy? So I guess your advice, basic advice, advanced advice.
For our planet,
Mm-hmm.
I would say the most basic strategy would be, you're going to stake your cards. You're going to collect ether, and then basically try to save your ether until you have enough ether to mint an NFT. So you're going to basically look at the tools, the publicly created tools that you can find right in the Telegram chat, where it clearly lists which ones are still less than 600 created, right? Like it's
Mm,
even like Pigwig's tool even has a cool little color coded thing. So it's in the green when there's like still a lot left. I think it goes to yellow, like sort of like the warning,
I
like
see.
they're starting to run out, and then it goes to
Mm,
it basically moves through the colors, right? And then when it gets to red, it's been 600. So that means that element
mm,
won't produce any NFTs anymore. And so I would say that a very basic and successful strategy would be to keep investing in yourself by taking your ether, save up until you have enough to mint a new NFT, mint yourself that new NFT, hope that you get a really rare one.
mm.
Whatever you get, just open it up, stake it back to our planet, and continue, rinse and repeat, right? I would
Great.
say a more advanced strategy, geez, I mean, it's hard to say, because you're probably involving some level of gambling. I don't know.
Mm,
I would say, obviously the far end of the spectrum is people who are doing the inventing.
I see.
That's probably that's people who are really the adventurers, and who are really sort of paving the way. That's probably the highest risk, highest reward sort of way to do it.
Mm,
But with 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 great risk comes a great prize. So I would say but for someone who's lower on the ether producing end of the spectrum, I would say just make yourself some NFTs, and just keep boosting up your ether value, and keep paying attention to when new things are found, because every day or every few days there's new things get found. And so maybe you can't afford one today, but maybe tomorrow a new one gets found, and you have
mm,
enough ether to do it. And again, like I said, with the fungible tokens, by building up your inventory of fungible tokens, you have sort of the building blocks needed, so that when something new gets found, maybe you already have most of the, maybe you don't have enough ether to make it, but maybe you have most of the ingredients already in your
mm,
inventory, so it might not cost that much to produce it. So again, you look at the elements, come up with your idea of what you think it will take to create maybe some of the elements that haven't been discovered yet, and
mm.
save up those fungible tokens, because even if you don't end up using them, they're going to have a value for upgrading your land in the our planet land. So yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you again for your time, Bonds.
Yeah,
If you
man.
can, I'm going to end the broadcast right now, but if you can hang back for a little, that'd be awesome.
Sure, man.
So
Hey, thanks a lot for
cool.
having me, man. I hope I had a blast, and I hope people learned something, and we'll do it again sometime.
Absolutely. Later, guys.